Thank you very much indeed for joining us. How do you gauge the way the Biden campaign is playing this?
Well, they're playing it like a campaign that believes in the United States should be playing it. Our democratic process is sacred. It's what's enabled us to have a thriving country for 2 centuries now. And we need to make sure that we count every vote. The will of the people is what matters in every election, and this one is no different. And so that's why Vice President Biden in his messaging is saying, let's count the votes. We are Americans. This is our democracy. For those who don't want to count votes, they're being anti-American. And unfortunately, Donald Trump is promoting the idea that somehow American votes should not be counted because he doesn't want to lose. And he's even been criticized by some in his own party because of his speech last night, which was very counter to the American history and to our actual legal structure for governing elections.
And how perilous do you feel this moment is for American democracy?
I'm not worried. I actually believe that this is a moment where, just like we had in 2000, just like we even had in 2004 and 2016 to a certain extent, where we have to be calm, be patient, let the process work out. We have a very decentralized electoral process. It's not a national election. It's the 50 states plus the District of Columbia, all independently governing their elections. So we have good processes. We have nonpartisan officials at the state and local level overseeing this. We have courts who are ready to ensure that the vote has integrity. And so as long as we remain calm, and clearly that's not what Donald Trump wants, but I think that's what the American people want, we will see a victor, and that victor should assume the White House in January.
Nonetheless, we'll have to wait to see which way this goes. Either way, though, we're far enough into the projections to know that there's been no significant blue wave. Joe Biden hasn't swept the board. And given all of the different circumstances of the Trump administration, are you critical of the Biden campaign not delivering something that's more clear-cut?
Well, you know, Joe Biden has 51% of the popular vote now, which is a significant jump from 4 years ago. And it's only going to grow because the votes that have not been counted, that are mail-in votes that will be counted in the next several days, are the preponderance of those are Democratic. So, no, it wasn't the perfect night for Democrats, but it's a strong night. We still have the House. We want to pick up in the Senate. And it looks like the Democrats and Joe Biden are on the path to winning this Electoral College mandate as well for the presidency.
But perhaps the more fundamental problem for America is that it is divided as never before. And there's nothing about the results being projected at the moment which suggests that division can be easily healed in the future.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, fundamentally, we have a very divided country politically. This is not a new moment. This is part of a long-time trend we've seen for several decades now. What's encouraging is that we had nearly 2/3 of eligible voters come out to the polls in this election, and that is a record. And so we have participation. How we heal those gaps, that's the challenge for the next government. That's the challenge for the leadership and clearly for the American people. But no, elections don't wipe away one side and suddenly demonstrate that the other side now has a plurality. Clearly, at this moment in our history, and our divisions are going to continue no matter who wins in this White House, and that is going to be a big part of their job.
Now, I'm sure you've spent much of the last few hours poring over all the details, all the different counties projecting in the different key battleground states. I wonder if you, though, have had a chance to step back and to consider the point which America has reached, where regardless of whether Donald Trump wins or not, this is someone operating well outside of the political norms in the US, and quite evidently many Americans would like him to continue to do that.
I think that Americans, when we saw the Trump voters, they didn't vote for someone who's outside the norms. They voted for someone who they thought was going to help them with the economy. And that is where he did very well in exit polls, it looks like. And so I think that there's a lot of discounting of his antics. But his antics are dangerous. His antics are anti-democratic. And his instincts are ones that should concern Americans. And I think that is a preponderance of where the electorate is. But certainly when it came to issues, Donald Trump was able to make an argument on the economy in particular that he, for some reason, had a winning hand, even though the economy's contracted on his watch. So there's a lot more work to be done for certain in these areas. And the norms do matter. And I do want to mention that as well. Norms are as important in many ways as laws in our system. We have to have people who participate and follow the rules, not just wait for the law to tell them to do so. And that's what's very troubling about Trump's reaction last night.
Joel Rubin, thank you very much indeed. We appreciate you joining us here on outside source.